everybody, welcome back to my last installment on my Eurovision series. So this is part 3 of this 2024 Eurovision review. On the first chapter, we talked about the origins of Eurovision. On the second chapter, we talked about the politics and the implications of Eurovision. And right now, I'm gonna give you the last chapter in which I'm gonna do a proper review of this year's Eurovision Song Contest 2024. Now, the reason why I just didn't want to do anything in one video, it's first and foremost not to overwhelm you with information, but also because I think it's nice to give people a little bit of a background. And in order to understand where we at now, I think it's good that we do a little bit of history review. So, the 2024 review. Guys, the show was not good. I'm sorry, but it was not. I have my notes in here, so forgive me if I look away from the camera from time to time. You could be forgiven to think of it as a satanic show. It was awful, guys. And when I mean awful, it's not only about, it's not only a taste review. I liked it, I didn't like it. Some countries perform better, some countries perform less. It's just that overall, the Eurovision Song Contest has stopped being a song contest. It has stopped being a song contest. It has stopped being a popularity show based on music, at least in 2024. Now, the Eurovision Song Contest has been happening since 1956, so obviously it has evolved and changed with the times. So I'm not gonna do a whole thing about what's been happening since 1956. Let's talk about the last 5 years. Okay, in 2020, we didn't have any Eurovision. For the first time in history, it was suspended because of COVID. We had like a show that it wasn't really a voting show in 2020. It was more an opportunity for the entries of that year to perform their songs. A lot of them returned the following year, some of them with the same songs, some of them with new songs, and some performers didn't return at all. So let's talk about 2021 onwards. 2021 was, in my opinion, the best Eurovision show in a very long time. I can name 5 or 6 songs that really stood out. Generally speaking, if I have to be honest, Eastern Europe is normally the part of the world that stands out the best. So, and 2021 was proof about it. We have Moldova, we have Ukraine, we had Russia, we had Serbia. I believe we also have Lithuania. Those were the countries that, in my opinion, were the best in that edition. From the Western world, I liked San Marino a lot, which is a country that nobody really thinks about, but the performance of San Marino that year was great. That year, Italy won with Måneskin. That's how it's really pronounced. I know that it's written Maneskin, but it's actually pronounced Måneskin, because if I'm not wrong, it's in Norwegian. Anyway, Måneskin won with Ziti and Buoni, and they that year won the Sanremo Festival, which we have already spoken briefly about on our last episode. To be very fair and honest with you, to me it was a surprise that both of them, that they both won both editions, winning Sanremo and winning Eurovision. I mean, Sanremo, it's historically more about Italian melodic songs, and that year a rock song won, and to win back-to-back Sanremo and Eurovision, it's like unheard of, at least for Italian acts. And Italy hasn't been winning for a very long time. There was a period of time that they didn't even participated in Eurovision. So they won that year. I wouldn't say it was the strongest song of that year, but you know, I understand they were different at the time. They were very fashionable. But to me, Eastern Europe, it's something that we need to talk about. They always stand out. They send the best music, at least in the last few years. 2021, things were a little bit, 2022, things were a little bit different. So the following year, Italy wins. So Italy is now hosting. And you know, I was like super psyched about it because, you know, it was great to see what Italy could offer as the host. Now, the quality of music went down quite rapidly, if we have to be honest. Quite rapidly, it went down. So if in 2021 we had 5, 6, 7 songs standing out, and I couldn't really pick and choose from Russian Woman, Shum, Adrenaline, Sugar, Loco Loco from Hurricane. You know, Serbia is always really up there when it comes to numbers. So in 2022, maybe there were 2 or 3 songs that stood out. Again, Serbia did very well. It always does well in 2022. If I'm not wrong, that's the year that Spain came to 3rd place with the song Slow Mo. And although, yes, it is true, Slow Mo may not be the most overwhelming song of the time, definitely it was the best song if we compare it to the top 3. The UK, which is an ongoing problem of boredom and sending acts that nobody really care, for some reason came 2nd. And they gave the 1st place to Ukraine because Ukraine is involved in a military conflict. It's basically at war. So it was one way for Europe to kind of help them out, I guess, which I get the politics behind it, but it wasn't the best song. So again, another example in here of to what extent Eurovision is really apolitical. If we're gonna be giving an award for somebody just for the sake of it, it wasn't the best song, guys. It wasn't even the best song that Ukraine have sent. If it would have been Shum with A Go, then yes, I'm done with that. But you know, it wasn't the best song. It wasn't. They won in 2023, obviously, because they're at war, they couldn't host, so the United Kingdom hosts for them. And again, the quality was even less, you know. So if in 2022, there were maybe 2 or 3 songs, in 2023, maybe there was 1, and I can't even remember which one it was. That's how embarrassing Eurovision have become. And in 2024, oh my God, no one stood out. Absolutely no one. So let's talk about this, because in 2024, I think shock value completely took over talent. Flags are taking over songs, and it seems that sexual orientation or your sexuality is more important than art. So this is, again, I don't want to offend the circus people, but this has become a circus. It's no longer a song contest. It's no longer about music. It's not even about who sings best or not. This is awful. It's really awful. So I'm going to do a breakdown of the different countries. So some countries have sent vocal talent, which is the case of Germany, Latvia, and France. France and Germany being one of the big 5. So basically there are 5 countries that enter automatically in Eurovision without having to go through the semi-final stages. So, you know, although the songs weren't the best in the world, at least I could see somebody that could actually sing. So the best vocal talent is for Latvia, Germany, and France. Now, Eurovision, it's known for its fun moments, you know, for songs that perhaps are not the best ones vocally, but they put on a show and it's fun, you know, thousands of examples, you know, throughout history. This year, I think the fun bit was brought in by Greece, Italy, of course, as usual, Croatia and Armenia. And two semi-finalists like Iceland and the Netherlands who didn't qualify for the final, but if you watch the semi-finals, they were amazing. I love the Netherlands about Euro, pa pa pa. Perhaps that's probably the best song of this year's contest. For some reason, I guess political reasons, the Dutch guy was disqualified in the semi-final, so couldn't go to the final. Now, surrealism, it's something that has always been present in Eurovision, you know, on the par with talent and fun. So the surreal part today was taken by Finland, which was interesting. Then we had the incomprehensible acts, such as Australia, who thankfully didn't qualify for the final because it was horrendous. And again, I know that a lot of people are like, why is Australia even part of Eurovision? We talked about why in the last chapter. This year, they were awful. They were absolutely awful. Not as bad as others, because there were others that were, and we're going to talk about those ones, incomprehensible. Like, you know, when you have a song that you don't really understand what's going on, there are lots of change of dynamics. That was the case of Australia and the case of Switzerland, in my opinion, that ended up winning the Eurovision Song Contest. Then obviously we have the predictable songs and acts such as Slovenia and Cyprus. Lots of acts this year were more about the visuals than anything else. Georgia is a case for the final, and the semi-finalists Poland, Azerbaijan and Moldova. Then, you know, there is a new category of acts not that great when it comes to some, but at least they dress well, which is the case of Malta and Albania. Neither qualified for the final. Now, let's go with the bad ones. San Marino and who didn't qualify, I believe, for the final. And Ireland. To me, the only word to describe Ireland, it's satanic. It's as a matter of fact, you know, she ended up her performance with the screen saying "Crown the Witch." I don't know what the F is that, guys. It was horrendous. It's really horrible. And Ireland haven't been qualifying for the Eurovision for, I believe it's 6 or 7 years in a row. So for you guys to come back in this way, no, it's awful. Two acts, in my opinion, were pathetic. The United Kingdom, and there is an ongoing problem with the United Kingdom sending really substandard songs and acts for a very long time now, to the point that the United Kingdom has been getting 0 points from the public and the audience, and sometimes even 0 points from the jury for several years in a row. But this year it was horrendous. You know, there was this guy who sang a song. He wasn't even decent, to be very fair and honest with you. And again, it seemed that for him, it was far much more important to let us know that he's gay more than anything else. Horrendous, really bad. But the most horrendous of them all, I think it's a tie between Ireland and Spain. Spain was horrendous. And, you know, a friend of mine criticized Spain in, I believe it was in 2022, when they got third with the song Slow Mo, saying, oh, you know, it's the typical singer who shows, you know, skin and it's all sexy. Yes, but Chanel at least could sing and Chanel can dance. I don't know what the F Spain was thinking in 2024, that's the most horrendous thing that I have ever seen. First and foremost, I don't like men wearing heels. I think it's horrendous for men to be wearing heels. And I don't understand why we should apply men on heels when we women are on heels all the time. I don't get it. And then, never mind that, I don't like that whole femme thing. No, men on heels, it's huge. No, they look like crap, for not saying another word, otherwise I will be censored. Then you had this woman, which is like a horrendous version of Raffaella Carra. And the song was pathetic. The song was called La Zorra, which kind of translates to a really bad word that women are told quite often. Why Spain would think it's okay to send a song that it's very denigrating anyway in any shape and form, and the dancing is denigrating, the singing is denigrating, the singer is denigrating. My God, Spain, what the hell are you talking about? What are you doing? What were you thinking? Horrendous, guys. And hence Spain didn't do as well as they think that they would. You're nothing comparison to Chanel. Nothing. Chanel she should have won in 2022. She should have won. In comparison to you guys, you're the worst garbage that I have ever seen. So Spain, United Kingdom and Ireland are the worst of the worst that I have ever seen. The problem is that Ireland did very well. I think Ireland came, I don't know if it in 5th place or 4th or 5th place, something like that, above Italy. Angelina Mango at least can sing, at least can dance, at least can do her own music. No, guys, no, this is unacceptable, guys. It is unacceptable to have acts like this. I'm okay with surrealism, I'm okay with fun, I'm okay, but when you're just putting forward garbage, this is not acceptable. And that is the reason why today, more than ever, Eurovision is derided and quite frankly deserves it. Let's talk about the winner, Switzerland. A guy with a skirt? Really? Is that supposed to be the best that you can offer? The song, in my opinion, changes dynamics way too much. Although I will admit that Switzerland had a better song in comparison to most of its peers. I mean, it definitely was better than the United Kingdom, better than Spain, and better than Ireland. No question about that. Is it to me the winner? No, nowhere near it. I'm not going to give you an award just because you're a guy wearing a skirt. No. It's not the best one. It's not the worst one. Could enter the top 10 in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. Why not? But it's not the best one at all. Nowhere near it. And this is the problem. I can't even pick up one song. And this is, to me, the review of 2024. Not even one song is worth the time for you to text. Perhaps the one that came the closest is Austria. Just about my favorite. Funnily enough, there were other moments in Eurovision, particularly the final, that I think are better. Such as, for example, the song We Love Eurovision Too Much, which is kind of an apology that Sweden has to the rest of Europe because they win a lot, and they win a lot. I mean, these are the people who have given us ABBA. The ABBA tribute could have been so much better. And again, we talked about Conchita Wurst in the last episode as, you know, the example that has started this confusing trend. Now it's okay to put a wig on, it's okay to put a skirt on now. Doesn't matter if you sing, doesn't matter if you're good, it doesn't really matter. It's okay to be apparently woke but talentless. And okay, so this is basically the conclusion of Eurovision 2024. Woke but talentless. Absolutely horrendous. There was also Alcazar that had the best performance of the night, and ironically they weren't even competing. So yes, this is my 2024 review of Eurovision, of the Eurovision Song Contest, the 2024 Eurovision Song Contest. Horrendous, guys. Bad. Not even one song that stands out. And this is bad for art, guys. It's bad for culture. Once again, I'm fine with the visuals, I'm fine with surrealism, I'm fine with fun, but when you don't have really anything to show other than visuals, shock value, who the hell cares if you're gay or not? I'm not here to judge your sexual orientation. I'm here for the song. I'm here for the entertainment, and you guys are not even providing that. Because you're not. Some of you are, please stop with this woke nonsense. I beg you. Let's go back to talent. Let's go back to the songs. Let's go back to the music. Let's go back to that, because today, so far, none of this is happening. And personally, as a person who loves art and culture, and I'm dedicating my life to this, I find this unacceptable and it's not good. So yes, this is my 2024 review. I appreciate that some of you will be in agreement with lots of the things I'm saying, because I know that I'm not the only one expressing these things. And I know that some of you will feel triggered. Well, people who feel triggered for, and this is also the problem of this generation. Everybody's offended about anything nowadays. But no, I'm sorry, 2024 was not good. So Eurovision, you need to do better, because we Europeans are paying for it. So you need to do better. Thank you very much for coming up until the end of this Eurovision series. I wish I could give you a better review. I can't. I need to be honest. This is the reason why I wanted to talk about the history. This is the reason why I wanted to talk about the politics and the implications, because 2024, it's a culmination of all of it. It has become incredibly political. We're giving awards to people that don't really need it. We absolutely overlook everybody else who actually come with something positive on the table. And, this is not something to be celebrated. It is time that we start calling these things out. So thank you very much. If you liked my videos, any of my videos, including this one, please like it, share it, and subscribe so you get notification when something new and a new video is coming up, so you don't miss anything. I'm now also publishing shorts and new videos, so we have new things happening all the time for you guys. Because at the end of the day, this is a cultural battle that we need to do. And art and culture, it's fine, but it needs to be defended. And the only way for us to get better at this, it's actually to have an open but honest conversation on these issues. So thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye now.